Coming up in the Bahamas tonight, the wife of murdered banker Renee Sherman has her day in court today. A man shot and killed in Coconut Grove. We'll tell you what police know so far. And the new-look Saunders beach continues to expand. All those stories and more straight ahead in the Bahamas tonight.
Covering the islands of the Bahamas, ZNS Network presents The Bahamas Tonight.
This portion of the news is brought to you by McDonald's. McDonald's, I'm loving it.
Good evening and welcome to the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report. I'm Keishla Adderley. Thanks for joining us. Topping the news tonight, the new-look Saunders Beach is undergoing another round of enhancements. A $2.2 million contract between the government, the Bahamas Marine Construction Company Limited, and Tycoon Management will cover the cost of enhancing and replenishing the shoreline on Saunders Beach in hopes of making it more user-friendly. LaDon Davis reports.
It's one of the most popular beaches Nasuvians everywhere flock to for recreation, especially during holidays and the summer. Saunders Beach stretches 1,000 feet long, and with this $2.2 million contract signed to the Bahamas Marine Construction Company and Tycoon Management, the scenic view is expected to not only be enhanced in shoreline and seawalls, but more than double in beach size. Minister of Public Works Nico Grant says this project is a continuation of the plans laid out for the overall improvements to the public recreation. He says he expects work to be done on time and in the best of quality.
When completed, the project will increase the recreational beach area by some 3.5 acres at high tide and 4.4 acres at low tide. The project will also increase the sand beach width on an overall average by 65 feet relative to the existing conditions of the shoreline. This partnership also negotiated with Tycoon Management for the transportation of 15,500 tons of boulders from Grand Bahama to the project site and provision of 37,500 cubic yards of sand for the beach replenishment.
Environment Minister Earl DeVos says he is pleased with the expansion of the open space and is encouraging Bahamians to be a little bit more reasonable with their expectations.
But as we all know, Saunders Beach is an extraordinarily high energy area, and so the work that will be undertaken there will result in turbidity. The question is, how do we address it and how do we deal with it? In a high energy area and with the clear waters that we have in the Bahamas, we can attend to this either by putting in turbidity curtains.
President of Tycoon Management James Curling says at least 55 Bahamians are currently working on the eastern portion of Saunders Beach. Now Saunders Beach will remain open to the public throughout the construction phase, and work is expected to be completed by late summer. LaDon Davis, ZNS News.
And east at Montague, a $2 million gift from Kerzner International has translated into a new beach. The Ministries of the Environment and Works teamed up with Kerzner to not only create a new beach, but green space too. Shanique Miller has that.
Increasingly, Bahamians found themselves squeezed out of prized beach access as developments became a two-edged sword, necessary for economic growth, but steadily eating up the beaches around the capital. 4 months ago, Kerzner International stepped in.
Just all very pleased that it is another project which is a part of the Kerzner community programs that are really designed to enhance the quality of life of our citizens.
Kerzner's Vice President of Community Relations, Ed Fields, talked about the work to get Montague transformed from a rocky, smelly, dirty waterfront into a peaceful green space where adults and children can enjoy. The work involved boulders from Freeport.
And it also involved bringing in tons and tons of sand. The way that these things are designed, and I'm not the technical expert, but the way that these things are designed, they've installed whale fin groins, and by doing that and creating these cells, the sand will stay in place. We won't have any attrition of the sand, and in fact, depending on current flows, you might end up actually expanding the beach area.
And as a way of enhancing the aesthetics of the beach, a number of features were added. Fields highlighted them.
The sand fences, the coconut trees, the planting.
Vegetation that you see being planted there is intended to help stabilize the dune. You know, you would have heard about scavola. This is a Bahamian scavola. and we have sea oats, the railroad vine.
Environment Minister Earl DeVoe says the entire look is to create a tropical experience for tourists who come to sunbathe and Bahamians frequenting the beach.
The government directed Kersner's community outreach program to Montague to ensure that this particular project was completed, and we are extraordinarily pleased with the result.
Meantime, Works Minister Nico Grant says the new Montague beach will have additional amenities similar to those offered at other public beaches around the capital. He talked about the enhancements.
In short order, we, the Ministry of Public Works and Transport, will commence paving of the driving area as well as the parking lots. We will also, in short order, issue contracts for 2 toilet blocks, one to the east and another to the west. In short order, we propose to issue a contract that will improve the traffic flow at the intersection of Village and Shirley Street and the Bay Street intersection. You'd be aware that there's been considerable congestion up at the boat ramp. If you were to go to the east, you'd see that we're doing work there now in the parking lot, as well as other works that will provide a clean environment for the vendors selling their fresh food.
We all agree that we need the improvement and we appreciate the clean environment. We all agree that the ramp entrance should be changed so that it would not block the traffic flow.
Over the last 4 months, Montague Beach has been completely transformed with about 50 feet of beach created. Embracing the change and happy for it are Bahamians who are now for the first time in decades able to do just about whatever they want to do on the beach. Did you come before this transformation?
Yes, I came before and you really couldn't come out and enjoy yourself. You're just sitting in your car.
Grant says the works in and around Montague Beach and Park will in the end create the kind of peaceful, tranquil surroundings Bahamians desire and deserve. Shanique Miller, ZNS News.
Students and faculty at the C.H. Reeves Junior High School in Montague Heights are set to get a new 8-classroom block and other buildings on campus. Today, a contract worth $1.8 million was signed between the Ministry of Public Works and Maljack Construction Company. Minister of Education Desmond Bannister applauded the Ministry of Works for its effort to improve the physical condition of the 30-year-old institution.
It marks a new era in the life of C.H. Reeves Junior High School. Mr. Reeves was an outstanding public servant and a great proponent of education. It seems most appropriate that in a year when we have just officially opened a new school named in honor of his daughter, Mrs. Anatole Rogers, that we would be here today to sign this contract for the start of a new building block at the C.H. Reeves Junior High School. This block will house the school's new administration buildings, 8 standard classrooms, and 3 levels of male and female student bathrooms and a library on the top floor. The contract is being awarded, as my colleague said, to Maljack Construction in the sum of $1.838 million. This new block at C.H. Reeves is a part of a master plan to rebuild the entire school on the original site.
Now, the project should be complete in about 8 months' time. Wife of murdered banker Stephen Sherman was charged in connection with his murder today. Renee Sherman appeared in court along with 2 others as her relatives and in-laws along with curious onlookers stood by. Our Janea Noel Ferguson was there.
43-year-old Renee Sherman of Yamacross Shores, shown in the pink shirt, green jacket, black pants, and red shoes, wife of banker 47-year-old Stephen Sherman, was charged with 2 others, 33-year-old Jermaine Russell of Casarilla Street, Pinewood Gardens, shown with the dreadlocks and plaid shirt, and 21-year-old Ginaldo Farrington of Bradford Street, also of Pinewood Gardens, hair in the mustard-colored pullover, were all charged with conspiracy to commit her husband Stephen Sherman's murder. The trio appeared heavily guarded in the Nassau Street Magistrate Court No. 1 before Chief Magistrate Roger Gomez. It is alleged that on February 20th, the 3 conspired to murder Sherman. Russell and Mrs. Sherman were charged together with aiding and abetment for Stephen's murder, and Farrington was charged with murdering Stephen and robbing him and a female relative who is a juvenile of a cell phone and cash. The trio were remanded to Fox Hill Prison, and the case is expected to proceed by a voluntary bill of indictment. They are expected back in court on May 16th. Last week, 21-year-old accused murderer Kadero Bethel was also charged and arraigned in connection with Sherman's murder. Police say that on the night in question, a gunman jumped out of a silver Honda vehicle, robbed Stephen and a relative, and shot him. Renee Sherman was represented by attorney Muriel DeSeal. However, there was no legal counsel present for Russell and Farrington. Janae Noel Ferguson, ZNS News.
A Coconut Grove man was shot and killed today on Andros Avenue during a broad daylight attack. Piercing screams of anguish filled the air in the aftermath of the killing. Police are still trying to find the motive for. When the victim was discovered, he was still seated in a chair after having been shot multiple times. We spoke with CTU Chief Superintendent Paul Roll at the scene.
Around 11:45 a.m. this morning, police received reports of gunshots being discharged in the right lane area of Wolf Road. Officers responded where they discovered a male lying on the ground at the dead end. This male, upon examination, was determined to have multiple gunshot.
In other news tonight, the ongoing standoff between fast food giant KFC and the Bahamas Hotel Catering and Allied Workers Union is into its second week now. There's no agreement yet, but Labor Minister Dion Foulkes claims progress is being made. KFC management came to the table with union leaders, the Director of Labor, and the Labor Minister this morning at his office in the General Post Office building. He says they were locked in talks for about 4 hours, with both sides now considering the latest round of counter offers. Strained talks over the restaurant's latest industrial agreement disintegrated last week when KFC said it would no longer recognize the voluntary-based relationship it had with the Bahamas Hotel Catering and Allied Workers Union, after which the Ministry of Labor stepped in to mediate, certifying the union as the official bargaining agent for more than 300 non-managerial KFC employees. The Labor Minister says another meeting is planned for 8 o'clock Tuesday morning. In the meantime, if you're craving KFC, sorry, the New Providence restaurants remain closed. After months of agitation which ultimately ended in their separation from the Bahamas Public Service Union, Customs and Immigration officers will reportedly get their overtime pay from here on in. That issue was among several, including personnel matters, discussed in a weekend meeting between Prime Minister Hubert Ingram, Labor Minister Dion Foulkes, and the union. Their overtime is set at time and a half and double time on holidays, as mandated by the Employment Act. In other labor news, the Public Managers Union claims that negotiations for a new industrial contract for middle managers at Bahamas Air and the College of the Bahamas have stalled because they haven't received a financial counterproposal. The PMU says there are unexplained delays in the process. At COB, they claim industrial action is being considered. The union recently filed a trade dispute with COB, but as a show of good faith, withdrew it. Unfortunately, the PMU claims COB seems determined to take its middle managers for granted. A counterproposal is reportedly expected by March 1st. Uncertainty regarding City Market's food stores continues as employees were reportedly told Friday that their main warehouse on the East West Highway, that is, would close today. However, their doors reportedly remained open. Employees on the condition of anonymity told ZNS News that they're gravely concerned as no official word on the future of the troubled business has been forthcoming from senior executives of the company, and they're owed 2 weeks' pay and are uncertain about the security of pension funds. City Markets, operated by Trans-Island Traders, has been plagued with problems for months now. The food store chain reversed a decision late last year to make the stores 24-hour operations. This after many of the stores were closed down. Calls made to City Market officials were not returned up to news time.